Welcome to John Cena Sucks, a pro heel podcast, broadcasting from Omaha, Nebraska. With your host Justin Moore and Adama Anderson. This is John Cena Sucks.
Welcome back to episode 2, numero dos, of John Cena Sucks.
A pro heel podcast.
Awesome. So, kind of where we left off last week was the inaugural episode of John Cena Sucks.
A pro heel podcast.
And that was, and as we kind of mentioned, we're just kind of going to be more of a recap show, just kind of talking current happenings and events in pro wrestling. We're not going to limit it to WWE.
Correct.
Go as far as NXT. Maybe we're going to go as far as AEW.
Little AEW.
Is there anything?
Maybe not this week, but
maybe not next week. But
no, we're good there. I'm trying to catch up right now. So
it's on the table though. But hey, so the inaugural episode was basically kind of a recap of WrestleMania that had happened that previous weekend. Now, this episode is going to focus on specifically Monday Night Raw, which happened on this last Monday as of this recording, but it was Monday, May 5th. Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Shout out Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. El Grande Americano.
So now, I think typically we will probably talk about Monday Night Raw regardless, but the reason this is special is because John Cena Sucks.
A pro heel podcast.
Was boots on the ground there in Omaha. So Monday Night Raw came through at CHI Health Center, Omaha, home of the Creighton Blue Jays, the main arena in town here in Omaha, Nebraska.
And the Omaha Supernovas.
And the Omaha Supernovas.
Yes.
Who are rising stars.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, like I said, we were boots on the ground that night. You, me, Paige Larson from the exit row was also, we all went, all three of us. So, let's see, this was Monday night as of this taping last Monday, Cinco de Mayo. So, I've never been to a taping of Monday Night Raw. I've seen SmackDown. We've seen SmackDown.
Yep.
And, you know, it's always kind of different in person. So, they kind of started out with some of those speed rounds.
Yes.
Which I actually always wondered when they taped those.
Yep.
To be funny. And so, do you remember who we saw first? So technically the show comes on the air at 7.
Yeah.
But on the ticket it said show starts at 6:30.
6:30, yep.
I kind of wondered what that meant. I actually didn't put 2 and 2 together.
And now you did. Yeah, was that the speed one or was it the main event?
Chad Gable was the speed round.
Okay.
And then there was another one.
It was
the Stephen Ashworth lookalike.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that match, and then who else was there? I honestly don't remember the first 2 matches. I'm trying to remember.
Because Chad Gable took on...
Yeah, I remember the speed match with Chad
Dragon
Gable.
Lee.
Because there was three matches, I thought.
Two
there was
or
the
three.
Speed round, Chad Gable... correction. El Grande Americano.
Don't call me Chad Gable, yeah.
Who did he fight?
Wasn't that Dragon Lee?
You're right, it was Dragon
Yeah.
Lee. Yeah, because it came... Yeah, Smoke came... Yeah, that was
Because
awesome.
that actually ended up being a pretty legit match at 6:30.
It was really good, yeah.
And again, it was a speed round, so that's limited at 5 minutes.
Yep.
But yeah, and like I said, I always kind of wondered when they taped those. And it's kind of funny when they said the show starts at 6:30, but you know, if you watch Raw enough, you know it doesn't come on air till 7.
Correct. On Netflix.
So anyway, yeah, oh man, it was. I was legitimately giddy. I think I mentioned to you guys when we were walking, like nervous. Like when I get really excited for something, I get nervous almost. And I don't know about you, but I was pumped for that night.
Well, okay, so like. I was starting to get, okay, who's going to be here? Like, because they only mentioned about 3 or 4 matches, and so I'm like,
right,
what's going to happen? Please don't let it be a boring, just filler show right before Backlash. But we got there. Well, leading up to it, all the fans coming out with their belts, and just the crowd of a WWE event is different from like other sporting events, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like a different crowd, you could definitely see like, it's just something. It's absolutely amazing to watch. But yeah, like you said, getting excited once we get in the arena, then we walk in and we see the set.
See the squared circle?
Oh yeah, that was cool.
So let's kind of dive into it because it ended up being a pretty epic night in terms of lineup and what we saw on the card. So, I mean, typically, if you watch Raw regularly, you will notice that Jey Uso's kind of been starting the show off more often than not. He's been starting the show off more often than not, and so this was no different here in Omaha. He came out, what was it, like section 104 he came out of.
Yeah, he was 2 sections away from us.
Typical Jey Uso entrance, not utilizing the stage.
Correct.
Coming out via the crowd, which was great. He's epic, and his entrance is electric, as it always is. And that was honestly one of the biggest things I was looking forward to for weeks, was like yeeting in person with Jay to the music with Pat.
Live eating. Yeah, with Pat, too.
Exactly, with Pat. Got a great video of Pat just going to town. Just really going to town on it. And so, now Jey Uso did not have a planned match going into the night.
No.
He was going to make an appearance, is what it was kind of being labeled as, was, Jey Uso makes an appearance on Raw. And so this was quickly interrupted by Paul Heyman. Oh. Now, he came out, just Paul. He was not with anyone, but Paul Heyman came out and kind of dished for a while. He actually went on an epic rant.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Epic rant. I actually
great promo.
hadn't seen that kind of Paul in a while.
Yeah. Oh, bashing on Omaha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hadn't seen that Paul in, a while. And let's see. So he kind of, you want to get into that a little bit? He kind of queued up what I didn't actually think was going to happen that night, but what was a major championship heavyweight match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's,
Because now, as you know, he's backing Seth Rollins.
Exactly. And he's like, Seth now needs to finish, go towards his new goal.
Right.
Which was taking the WWE
And what Seth wants is what Jay has.
Exactly.
And so they kind of teased, and I legitimately in the moment thought, there's no way this is happening tonight.
I know, you said that multiple times.
There's no way, because it was too good to be true.
Like, why Omaha, right?
Not only why Omaha, but I was like, well, I mean, this makes perfect sense to lead into Backlash.
Yeah.
And if anything, it makes perfect sense. And I thought it was going to be all talk. And I think they made it official like a few minutes later when they finally flashed the card on the screen. You and me looked at each other like, oh, shit.
It's actually happening.
Like, that's tonight?
We're having the championship, like a real, I mean, not real, but it's still like.
And I'm back to being nervous. Back to being real nervous.
What's going to happen?
So that was awesome. I mean, we'll obviously get more into that because that was an epic match. I mean, like I mentioned to you off air, I kind of follow a Bleacher Report article, and they gave even that introduction segment an A+.
Yeah,
it was sick.
And I like the way Paul got in, but he was kind of in and out into the ring.
Yeah, doing the typical Paul lean.
Do I really want to? Yeah, I'm coming in. Is that Paul Heyman?
So we'll now go through some rapid fire, the segments that we saw in chronological order. We saw Penta. Penta came out and faced JD McDonough. We'll kind of just give the spoiler alert. He did defeat JD McDonough. Which, was this a comeback? No, JD McDonough had been previous.
This was his first or second match back.
Relatively back on the scene.
Yes, he's back.
So Penta, and like you said, new song, right?
New song, yeah. New version done by, was it Adam from Tool? I think that's his name.
And like we've always mentioned multiple times, seeing these things done in person and taped in person is so much different. Like we said, when, the commercial breaks are sometimes awkward in person, but Penta, they had to bring out all his pyrotechnics.
He was waiting there for like 30 seconds to a minute trying to wait for the...
So McDonough was accompanied by most of the Judgment Day. Now, it turned out that Dirty Dom was not in the house.
Oh, I was so upset.
However, Carlito with the Apple
attended,
and then also Finn Balor.
Yeah, and I thought Dirty Dom, he did do a segment inside the arena, but he wasn't there. He was there in Omaha. Right. He didn't come out. I'm very upset with you, Dirty Dom. I really wanted you to be there.
Dirty Dom, dirty.
We had the chance.
Dirty Dom.
We did have the chance.
So it's kind of funny as I'm going through this. Page of events that happened. It was one of the in-between segments they did is when they showed Paul Heyman then talking to Seth Rollins in what happened to be the Supernovas locker room. Shout out. That's another thing I love about Raw and SmackDown is they showcase the local sports there.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say local sports. I should say, at least the arena that they're at that night, SmackDown or Raw, they always showcase the home teams of that arena.
They do.
Because luckily the Creighton Blue Jays were showcased as well a couple of times.
Yeah, because I think EO was right next to the...
Io Sky made the walk that Ryan Kalkbrenner made famous, let's say.
Which, by the way, it was her birthday yesterday. 35 years old.
Oh, yeah, shout out.
Yeah.
35, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm 35. What have I done? Good Lord.
You ain't no champion.
But anyway, so they made... The segment that I was getting to there was he was talking to Jey Uso and making a point that he suckered Jey Uso into this.
That's right. Yeah.
And that he suckered him into this, which was
him.
right. So one of the bigger surprises of the night was actually, so Austin Theory was taking on, did he have, I actually can't remember it correctly. It wasn't known that it was going to be Sheamus.
No, I had no clue that Sheamus was going to be in town. And that was great. All of a sudden you see him come in and
because A-Town Down came out together, but it was a fight for Austin Theory. And I apologize, but I can't remember if he like had an unknown opponent going into this or if someone dropped out. But either way, Sheamus made an appearance, which was unexpected.
yes.
And speaking of being gone for a while, he has been absent for a while.
Oh yeah.
And I think this was his first showing. And I could be wrong, but I haven't seen him lately.
No, I don't remember.
And he ended up defeating Austin Theory.
He did, and that was a great thing to see because right afterwards, you see those two are fighting A-Town Down.
Ooh. Yeah.
Taking the shirt off.
Dude, yes.
And like really upset with each other.
That's going to be happening. That is going to happen. It's long overdue.
It's been boiling, and it's like, come on.
It is long overdue, brother.
Let it happen.
You know what's funny is if you're into the sporting event that you go to, you realize it's tough because something like Raw, you've got commercial breaks. But say like a basketball game, for instance, you've got halftime.
Yeah.
So we have to find a chance to either A, use the restroom, and B, get food, in my case, who had not ate all day. So we saw Sheamus's entrance.
Yes.
And full transparency, we got up and left.
We did.
There has to come a time.
Yes.
But we saw his entrance, which was legit, and we saw the end of the fight.
Correct. So yeah, because you were right next to food and needed back.
I just want full transparency.
Old man here.
Yeah. And I had not ate all day. I was running on straight adrenaline from knowing that we were going to see Monday Night Raw that night. So let's see, again, going in chronological order. So Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch are facing off in this weekend's Backlash, and they kind of faced off in Omaha. Ironically, they had what do you want to call it, a face-to-face?
Yeah, it was a face-to-face.
I actually don't know if Lyra was scheduled to be there, scheduled quotes, but I know Becky was making an appearance. She was going to talk, call her out maybe. Maybe it was a call-out.
Yeah, I think it was just a call-out. Yeah.
But it started with Becky coming out first, which, by the way, say what you want about what she's doing now. It's so nice to have her back.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
She brings us such a vibe to the arena.
Yeah.
She brings such a vibe. And
to see everybody just, singing her song and all that.
Her entrance just automatically, it's one of those where when you hear the first note, you just lose your shit.
Yeah.
Just lose your absolute shit. How'd you feel about that? Anything?
About her?
How do you feel about this going into Backlash? You think Becky Lynch is going to take her down, or is Lyra going to retain?
Lyra's going to retain. I want her to retain.
I'm kind of feeling her as a champion.
Because she's excellent right now. And I think Becky is coming out here to try to, put a little competition into the women, but also, again, trying to bring them back up because Becky doesn't care right now about Lyra.
Right.
Becky cares about Bayley. And so they got to get through this match to then go, because guess who's going to show up this weekend at Backlash?
Who?
Bayley.
Yeah, she has to, right? She absolutely has to.
We got to get this going for SummerSlam or
Right. Good point.
Money in the Bank.
So moving on was one of your current favorites, I believe, Roxanne Perez. So she came out and she was going to take on the champion, Io Sky.
Yeah, and I think with her coming on, I think she's off NXT. I think she's
I'm kind of getting that vibe too. I don't know if that's made official, but she appears to be a part of Raw.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm totally here. No, that's actually really good.
T's here for it.
That's actually a really good point you make because I was kind of wondering that too. She's been making enough appearances where she's not on NXT regularly, but she is on Raw. But I haven't seen like an official roster announcement.
No.
But she's clearly headed that way. Her and Julie are clearly their days of NXT are over. Even though ironically they both made an appearance on NXT last night.
They did, yep.
But I think they're trending to probably get called up.
I think so.
What it appears.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a thing for sure.
But Io Sky did pin Roxanne Perez that night.
Dude, and seeing Io Sky, all of us. Just so excited, seeing her.
That was sick, dude. Io Sky is growing on me so hard right now. No pun intended.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I honestly, it's not that I didn't like her. I just wasn't feeling her vibe for whatever reason. Earlier this year, kind of when she kind of started to become really relevant. But as she's kind of retained these championships and as she's become more of a staple
Yeah.
on the flagship. I don't know. I fucking love her. No?
I can't.
Now, in this one specifically, obviously you were with Roxanne Perez, but overall.
I mean, no. I'm not against Io Sky.
Sounds like you are.
I just think that, there's other women who.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, the women's division is hot right now. No pun intended.
Oh,
once
yeah.
again.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I love Io Sky. She does have a great aura that comes with her.
Yeah.
She makes everybody incredibly happy. And
Her R's are W's.
and she makes the women around her better, which is awesome.
Right.
So-
No, absolutely. Because you can make it. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Not saying that the women are bad, but I'm saying she helps that storyline. She's like, all right, I need you to throw me this way out.
Right.
She is really good. So
what's funny? So, Julia ended up coming out because, let's see, it was Io Sky was about to finish that fight, which I think she did actually finish.
she did.
it.
Yeah, they finished.
And then Julia came out.
After there was the shake, the handshake.
Oh, shit, that's
between-
right.
Yeah,
Shit,
yeah.
that's right. Good call.
There was a handshake between.
Which we thought was going to be
Roxanne.
complete bullshit.
Yeah, I was like,
But
this
then they
is-
literally just shook
this is
hands.
weird.
I think I turned to you. I was like, that was the most disappointing handshake I've ever seen in my life.
And then you see the turnaround, and I go, here we go.
So obviously when we saw Julia come out, I was fully physically and mentally prepared to see Rhea Ripley.
My phone was video.
You were legitimately recording the stage.
Because I was like, come on, I just want it. Just.
So what's funny is you have a video on your phone of the stage being recorded where nothing happens because Rhea never came out.
And there's a fight over there in the ring, and I'm missing it.
I just thought about that you've got a video on your phone.
I totally deleted
where
it
Roxanne,
afterwards.
Julia, and Io Sky are going at it, but you're taping the stage where absolutely nothing happens, which is awesome. What I got to say, I thought it was a slam dunk that Rhea was coming out.
Yeah, right?
And what's funny
That's
is
disappointing. Rhea, come on, it's Omaha. It's not so bad.
everyone else apparently,
Apparently, everybody did, yes.
but they kind of just beat the shit out of Io, because they lost. Had to get Julia in her corner. Which, it's funny that Rhea could make an appearance, but then both Julia and Roxanne are on NXT the next night.
Oh, yeah.
Riddle me that.
Yeah.
Whatever. So we saw a newcomer, or I shouldn't say newcomer, a returner of Rusev,
Oh,
which
God.
I get a feeling you're a fan
Oh,
of.
man.
We saw a lot of man take on each other.
Over 600 pounds right there in that ring together.
Yes.
Just those two, not even the referee. Like,
Not counting the
600
referee.
pounds.
You're right. No, so he took on Otis, and so just spoiler alert, he did defeat Otis,
Yep.
and actually kind of lost control, I would say, borderline.
This is Rusev.
Yeah.
He doesn't take.
Because he didn't show that. He hasn't showed that yet. But
Yeah.
it finally kind of came out Raw in Omaha, where he kind of just lost his mind and went
In Ramaha.
Ramaha. Nice. I hadn't heard that yet.
There you go.
Ramaha. But he kind of just fucked up Otis.
Oh, yeah.
Where Otis did he did the whole thing where he didn't get stretchered out. He got helped out with the help of several people.
Yeah.
But he was doing the whole, choking thing because Rusev got him good. Couple of times.
You don't want to
In fact,
mess with him.
He did the whole thing where he walks back down, turns around, comes back to continue to beat the shit out of him. It was one of those. I thought it was a little much because I like Otis.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
I'm a big Otis. He needs a W, man.
Just
He needs
remember,
a W.
I'm that pro heel. Give me Rusev. Oh, I want
Right.
him to mess some people up.
Right. No, I get it. It was the sentimental part where I was like, poor Otis. Because then you had who's his little sidekick? Tiny little thin Asian
Yeah,
man.
the little.
Who acted like he was going to do something about it and
course,
tried.
he always does.
Tried.
Yeah, so I used to watch AEW when he was Miho, and yeah, I definitely saw that this is what's going to happen. Rusev's going to come out. He's going to destroy everybody that's in that ring because he's going to make a statement that he's here and that he's not just trying to make a paycheck here.
No, he's here for the long haul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike somebody that, I like that said, I'm only here for the paycheck.
So let's see. He finally finished beating the shit out of Otis, and then we saw what was advertised as a face-to-face because coming up as of this recording, this Saturday is Backlash, and the Pat McAfee is taking on the Ring General Gunther.
Oh, I was so excited. Oh, speaking of, we saw Ludwig earlier.
Oh, that was the other fight.
That's what we saw, yes.
That was it. We saw tight-ass Ludwig.
Oh, my God, yes.
Tight-ass Ludwig. Shout out to
By the
the
way,
time.
he's so tall. Holy cow. I did not realize
Yeah,
when I
even
saw
Paige
it.
was like, shit, this guy's tall.
He's tall. Yeah.
Super tall.
So back to the ring.
Ring General Gunther. So they had an official face-to-face with their next match being at Backlash that next weekend, also known as this weekend as of this taping.
Of tomorrow.
So again, I'm not gonna lie. I know there's a lot of people out there that like Pat McAfee, and I know there's a lot of people out there that find him extremely annoying. I am not one of those people. I fucking love Pat.
Yep,
And
I know you do.
I think he's great for the sport. Not knowing just where he came from, but I think he's brought so much. He's brought such a different style to the commentary booth that not just wrestling is literally changing sports and podcasts and entertainment as we know it, whether you want to believe it or not. But
So did you see the video? I don't know if I sent it to you, but there's video of Pat and at all the events he was at before with the Indianapolis.
oh, like showing him like legitimately attending these as fans.
Yes.
As a spectator.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Young.
He brings 110% every single night. And not saying others don't, but it's one of those where it's just clearly visible.
Yeah.
And before we get into this, they always show the famous people that are at SmackDown and Raw. Mm-hmm. Of course, at Nebraska, when it's in Omaha, the famous people in the audience are the Nebraska football team.
Of course.
Like, that was the most on-brand thing I've ever seen. It was Coach Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola and then Emmett Johnson.
Yep.
Of course, the famous people at our event is the Nebraska football team.
And then you get those stupid chants. Just saying, we're not chanting it.
You can't go into that arena and not leave without hearing a Go Big Red chant at least twice. So, back to the ring head at all. He had a face-to-face with for the brand himself, which by the way,
tapped out.
I'm really truly interested to see what they do with this match. Because obviously everyone in their right mind says Pat needs to probably leave that fight disabled. Yeah. Like legitimately.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But clearly someone's either got something up their sleeve or, every once in a while there is a fight that goes super quick and it's over just like that. Every once in a while. So yeah. I'm truly interested to see how they go with this.
Well, maybe Pat sticks around and he's going to take on Travis Scott.
Jeez, I'm so done with Travis Scott. So done.
Oh my!
So what's funny is I can see either way. I can legitimately see maybe if Pat wins. Let's say Pat wins at Backlash, Gunther then takes a break, right? Because he's been going strong for a while. I honestly thought he was going to disappear after WrestleMania due to losing.
Right.
But that didn't happen. Or, even if Gunther wins, or, dream scenario is he taps out.
Yes, I want to see that happen.
Dream scenario is he taps out to Pat. Yeah, I'm truly interested to see which way they go with this because I'm not too sure, regardless of what happens, like I said, it could be Gunther in a blowout, and it's not going to matter. It's kind of a win-win for Pat because here's what I was going to say. I don't necessarily want to see Pat win because I don't want to see him back in the mix because he's behind the table.
Yeah, he needs to stay.
And I'm not saying that's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying something's right or wrong here, but this is a fun one-off. I don't want him back in the mix.
No, you don't want to see him fight. You're like,
so that's.
But you know what though? He has stated that he believes that he's a wrestler.
Oh, and that's fine.
And so
but his ass belongs behind the table. All right, let's be honest.
Get back there.
And hey, maybe he wants to be in the ring, but unfortunately, he has brought so much to the sport where it literally is lacking, in my opinion, when he's not on the call. I'll go that far.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe Tessitore, but
Yeah, and those guys are professionals and absolute professionals. It's just the energy's not there.
Correct. You need that energy on Monday.
Right. Him and Michael Cole are a perfect duo of just awkwardness at the same time as professionalism. Oh, but no, like you said, Joe Tessitore and everyone else that calls him, the energy is just not the same. So like I said, if Pat does come out victorious at Backlash, it'll be really interesting to see if this is either launching something or if this was just a fun one-off.
Yeah.
Or
it's time for a break.
Or, yeah, which is probably coming at some point, given
we know it's going to come up July, August, if he still continues, because
Right.
College game day and all that.
So that was a pretty. Nothing technically happened physically there.
No.
If I remember correctly.
Except you tapped out. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So then that did lead into the unexpected World Heavyweight Championship of Jey Uso and Seth Rollins, which we got a second Yeet session.
We did.
In Omaha.
We got our Seth Rollins coming out finally.
Yes, dude. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I remember turning the page. Like I was legitimately tired after eating. Like actually tired.
So much eating.
Like it's a good cardio workout.
Oh.
Just going and pumping up Jey Uso for 5 minutes. It's a good cardio workout.
We're still eating.
So, yeah, okay. So we had the World Heavyweight Championship that no one really saw coming, at least that night.
Yep.
And just, again, spoiler alert, technically Seth Rollins did retain because this match ended up in a DQ.
Correct.
You wanna maybe talk about why it ended in a DQ?
Well, who first came out? It wasn't. Somebody else had come out first, I thought.
Not Braun Breaker.
Was it Braun Breaker?
So real quick, luckily we saw a couple of spears.
Oh yeah, we saw a whole lot of spears.
We got to see, but from Braun specifically, we saw a couple. That was I wasn't gonna be able to sleep that night unless I'd seen Braun
Had to see a spear.
at least once. We saw a couple there.
There was like 10 spears in that match.
So you might be referring to Logan Paul, who ended up coming out.
Yeah, he came out after
the.
So, but yeah, I mean, for me, the shocker was to see
for everyone, by the way.
CM Punk.
So this was where the fight hadn't been called yet. Clearly, the
Yeah.
DQ came when he came in. But I mean, when CM Punk's music hit,
my God.
And I'll go on the record right now. I'm not huge on CM Punk. I wish he would go heel,
Yes.
immediately, which I think we're going in that direction. But regardless, just for the record, for the people listening, huge CM Punk fan.
Oh God, yes.
Huge CM Punk fan. Now, I will say, going into the night, I thought there was maybe less than a 25% chance of seeing him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting it. So
No one was.
It was another surprise for that night.
Which, by the way, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn,
That's
thank
it.
you. I was
That's
like,
it.
somebody had come out
Yeah, Sami
and
came
got
out.
involved
Yes.
because of what happened in the previous week.
So Sami Zayn came out, and then it ended up being CM Punk was the last to show up with a chair. With a chair.
The chair.
Nice. Shout out to the chair. Yeah.
And I like how he just threw it. Like, he threw it at Braun Breaker and just...
So it was just them going at it for a while. And again, it ended in DQ, which means Jay retains.
Yep.
Now, when CM Punk came out, I legitimately thought, to what end now? Does this mean, is Roman back there?
Yeah, I thought that too.
I legitimately
I was
thought
like,
that.
are we about to get a super group forming here?
Because
Like,
again, with this leading into a PLE, I thought these are the shows that end in absolute fucking chaos.
Right.
And I was like, I had my one up, dude. I was ready.
I think a lot of people did too.
I was
'cause they're
ready,
like,
man.
It's going to happen.
But then again, he went Rhea Ripley and didn't
did.
show up.
Yeah. It's Omaha, right?
Yeah. Right. And hey, Chicago's a quick flight.
It's not we have a few drug flights a day.
Right. Shout out the exit row if you want to talk more about flights and planes. Get with us at the exit row. So anyway, that show ended, and like I said, so technically it went off air on Netflix, but then Jey Uso was kind of doing his thing. He was walking around and giving claps.
Sami Zayn and CM Punk.
And they were just walking around giving high fives, taking pictures with people that were down on the floor. And then as Jey Uso was kind of going around the farther edge, he was giving high fives, and then he gets taken out by a dude.
Another spear.
He gets taken out by a hooded guy in all
It
black.
was another spear. But yeah, that's right.
He got punched, basically punched straight up in the face by a hooded mystery man in all black. But then when it was revealed, it was Logan Paul's ass.
Logan Paul again. Our second time we've seen Logan
By the
Paul
way,
in Omaha.
yeah, we've been to both SmackDown in Omaha and Raw in Omaha, and the one common denominator there is weirdly Logan Paul.
Yeah, I think so. I'm like trying to go back and look at everybody else. No, yeah, that's true.
The one link between the two is weirdly Logan Paul, who was on the SmackDown roster when we saw it, and is now a part of Raw.
Now part of Raw, yeah.
I like Logan Paul. I do.
I know you do, and I'm a heel guy.
Because he knows exactly what the fuck he is. He knows exactly what he is.
Yeah, it's...
I'm not a huge fan of him going after the championship. I will say that. I'm not necessarily saying I like him in that regards. I think he plays a crucial role, but I'm not too sure that's it.
I kind of want to see Logan Paul and Punk because he called him out for a little bit, WrestleMania and all that. Or not WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to see maybe that happen a little bit, but I want Punk to turn. I need him to turn.
It's got to be coming soon, dude.
Please turn.
So that kind of wraps up. I mean, we obviously had a great time at Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Overall.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Like I said, it's always a little different seeing it in person, just like any sporting event is, but especially professional wrestling when there's the commercial breaks.
All right, so I'm going to admit something here.
Do it.
I kind of had a feeling that Punk was going to be there.
God, of course you fucking did.
I'm going to tell you why.
Of course you fucking did.
I'm going to tell you why.
Because you know everything.
Because I looked at the merch, and they had autographed CM Punk posters.
You know what? Now that we look back on it, however, walking into that building that night. Shut the fuck up.
Before I saw that, I had no clue.
You know what? That's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. I didn't even remember seeing this. You're right. They were autographed.
Yeah, they were autographed for $25. I was like,
I was like, why would there be autographed CM Punk merch here?
Yeah.
Damn. You're right.
Yeah. So I just kept that in the back of my head. And
however, when we parked the car,
I was still surprised.
However, when we parked the car at the garage, let's be clear.
Oh, yeah.
Not see him coming out. Yeah.
Nope.
Why couldn't there be autographed Drew McIntyre gear? No, I'm just kidding. But no, Raw was awesome. So quickly, we'll kind of wrap it up here, but I do want to cover Backlash really quick.
Okay.
So we've got John Cena. So we're kind of literally some behind the scenes here. We're literally about to go finish the SmackDown recording as of this Friday night, where John Cena is supposed to make an appearance. Supposedly, no Randy Orton. We'll see. But let's just kind of cover that main fight real quick. So you got Randy Orton in his hometown of St. Louis taking on Cena.
Oh, yeah.
John Cena sucks.
A Pro Heel Podcast.
Speaking
of SmackDown, the three people with the John Cena sucks. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the advertising.
Yeah, shout out to that. Yeah, if you do happen to watch the latest recording of SmackDown, there's three gentlemen located in right behind the ring on the main camera that have three shirts on. One says John, one says Cena, one says sucks. However, I don't know if there's people on the other side that one has A, one has pro, one has heel.
I hope so.
But do you have any, first off, thoughts, and what do you want to see in that fight?
All right. So this is St. Louis. Again, we've discussed this.
I feel like the writing's on the wall with what you think will happen, but...
Yeah. So Randy Orton, obviously, I don't think he's going to win it.
I do think Cena retains at the end of the day.
I think he retains. I see a grueling match because it's going to be their final match together.
I think it's going to be bloody, hopefully.
Yeah, I think...
Because I've kind of been going down a rabbit hole myself lately of their past matches, and they've been epic.
Oh, yeah.
They've been so epic.
So it's going to be... You think that Randy Orton is going to win, and John Cena is going to pull another heel move. Maybe we get Travis Scott coming back out again. And Travis Scott is going to be this little minion that comes out for every championship match.
Right.
Just to be a little bitch.
I hate to say it, but I do think he's nowhere near done being involved. Because like you said, now we've got legitimate evidence of him training even.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going away anytime soon.
He's not.
That's what sucks. Do we think there's any chance we see The Rock at Backlash?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh.
The fact that he didn't show up at WrestleMania makes me think he's going to be surprising somewhere.
Yeah, and I think that is.
I think there was enough outrage.
I think that's a storyline in itself. I think that they just put these planters out there, and they're planting things. So this whole thing that he didn't show up because of this, I think there's more to it than what we really think. So,
but yeah, I think at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think Cena does retain, but I think it's going to be fucking epic. The way it goes about. Hopefully, because the WrestleMania matches, this is the first PLE since WrestleMania. And honestly, those headliners were, at least the Cena Rhodes match was mid.
Yeah, how was that?
Mid, as the kids say these days.
Night one was the best night.
100%.
And, CM Punk, he has a new goal, and that's night two, the real main event night.
Right.
So he's going to turn heel, and he's going to...
Because, these last few PLEs have had major happenings in terms of, Cena turning, and then with Paul Heyman whether you want to call it turning or not, but, changing corners.
Yeah, he was changing corners.
Something's got to happen at Backlash.
He needs fresh blood.
Because obviously Cena and Orton are going at it, but who else will be involved is the question.
Somebody will be involved.
Because this isn't a street fight, right? This is just like no DQ or anything kind of, I don't believe.
I think it's just a regular championship match.
Right. But someone's going to be showing up. Right?
Who's out there? Is Kevin Owens coming back? I don't think so. No. Kevin Owens needs to take on Randy Orton again.
Yes. The fight we never got at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and, he's been tweeting. He's been tweeting.
Does Joe Hendry show up?
Dude, I just heard that once he's done with his TNA contract, they're legitimately looking at bringing him in to WWE, which would be
That's called # a smart move.
that is a great move. Who doesn't believe?
I believe.
I believe.
I've always believed in Joe Hendry.
And going to, a little bit me, the LA Galaxy, I'm a fan of them. They're sucking like garbage this year. They also did post something with Joe Hendry this week. Yeah, it was awesome.
There was like a week where he made a bunch of rounds.
Yeah.
And that was one of them. And he was everywhere that week.
Everywhere.
Like, I'm talking late night shows. He was going to all the sporting events. Yeah. No, you're right.
But you know what's so great is everybody, even those who probably don't know about him, but he's known outside the wrestling world.
Yeah. No, legitimately.
Yeah. Like even the Braves had posted something earlier this week too.
Like I do think there's a fair amount of people out there that don't even realize he's a wrestler, and they're like, why does he have those belts on and whatnot? And why is he supporting WWE and TNA? Why is he supporting these?
Yeah. We believe.
But no, I think Cena retains. I'm going to go ahead and say Pat loses. I think for the betterment of everything.
I think Pat loses too.
I just hope it's not, if again, they do like to kind of
throw wrenches.
Right. Or I guess more so what I was going to say, not premonition's the right word, but, looking ahead.
Shout out to Premonition John.
Yeah, shout out Primo John. They do like to look ahead a little bit, and if, it was any sort of insight in the way he took him out and, got him unconscious on the floor that one night, if that was anything, any indicator, hopefully it's just not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully not. And
if it is, I hope it's the other direction.
Who do you think the Fatal 4-Way?
Drew McIntyre is what my heart wants. I do think Fatu does give up the championship. I actually think it goes back to LA Knight.
LA. I know you're a fan. But
yeah,
I'm here for you. Let's go, Jacob Fatu. Let's get this. But you know what? I could see it changing too, because Jacob Fatu, there's a lot of positive people who are for a heel right now.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
And it's maybe a little too much. Like, Dom, it's a little too much.
In that Fatal 4-Way, you can make a valid argument for each one of them to have the championship.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think Drew's time has come. He's served his time.
I just don't think Damian Priest gets it. I think Damian Priest out of the 4 is going to be the one that...
Yeah, I agree.
So, but him, watch his SmackDown tonight. Him and LA Knight are really going to go toe-to-toe.
They're going to end up screwing each other over, in my opinion, tomorrow.
I think, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So that's why I don't think either of those two win.
Right. No, I'm with you. As I think about it out loud now, yeah, you're right. They're going to screw each other over tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it'll be between Drew and Fatu, and God, I hope it's Drew.
He's
put in his time.
It's not bad.
It's not.
It's not bad.
No, it's not.
But I sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all I had. Drew. Period.
I just think that if you have the championship, you need to at least hold it for 3-4 months.
Right. Well, sorry. Backlash is tomorrow. You want to wrap it up? I think we're good here.
Yeah, I'm great.
All right. Another solid Paige. Shout out to you for being our studio audience as usual.
Hi, Paige.
Hi.
Episode 2. Look out for episode 3. It's coming at some point, because we're going to have a lot to talk about after Backlash and after the next week of happenings.
Oh, man, and they're trying to catch up with AEW and trying to catch up with everything else. And NXT, God, NXT is really going...
NXT is throwing a fastball right now.
Going really good.
Absolutely. So we are John Cena Sucks.
A Pro Heel podcast.
It is a go-around media product.
There you go.
Shout out to you.
Media group product.
Shout out to you. And as usual, just want to shout out everyone that listens. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm sure this is going to grow just as much as we expect it to, which is... obviously a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to No Contest, which is I kind of want to shout out other people that are doing what we do.
They do a great job.
O'Shea Jackson, you're the man.
Yeah. And I love that you have people on each week. So that
Yeah. Theirs is a long podcast, I will say. I'll admit that I'm kind of, when I see a podcast is like over an hour, I kind of steer clear of those, to be honest. But those, like, I don't mind it at all.
no, I don't. It's really easy listening.
So shout out to those guys. You're kind of a big reason why we honestly started this. I'll be honest. And like we found out while naming this podcast, there's a lot of wrestling podcasts out there.
There is.
We're not necessarily breaking any ceilings here. But yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, we will catch you guys on the next one, and we'll see you soon.
Deuces.
Bye.